Recently we tested Hyundai's i30N, but for those who don't want to get to 100 at warp 10, here's the i30N line. i30N line continues the tradition started by the i30 all those years ago, and this is the latest version. What the i30N line has done is replace the SR range, and that sits about in the middle, roughly, of i30. The N line has a few extra tweaks over the SR to make it worth a little bit extra. For example, the grille gets extra trim, and there's the silver down below. N line comes in two variants, this one, which is the base one, and the premium, which adds a whole lot of extra stuff, and that retails for in the mid-30s. I'll put the prices up on that at the end. Along the side, there's N-line badging, the piano black mirror finish on the mirrors, and these specially milled alloy 18-inch wheels. Of course, it has smart entry, which means you just press these little buttons on the door to open and close if you've got the key in your pocket. Around the back, the N-line gets a little bit of special treatment as well. There's LED tail lights, of course, and this lower bumper has this diffuser with the silver trim. It's got the same size boot, obviously, as the N, which we reviewed a little while ago. Here's a little bit of that now. There's a surprising amount of room in the back too. The door is a little bit low, so I have to duck to get in and out, but basically this is all good news. On the door is just the usual power window. This trim feels soft, but still doesn't quite look as premium as, say, in a Mazda. There's plenty of bottle holders and cup holders, and a nifty map holder, although when was the last time you saw anybody under 50 with a map? The seats have nice red stitching, and on this N-line version are leather appointed, and that means some of the leather that you see is made from a cow, the rest is made in a factory. Also inside, you get these great looking red seat belts, and in the front, highlights around the vents, a wireless charger for your phone, which is a Qi charger, dual zone air conditioning, and this great floating tablet. Again, we looked at that in the end, so I'm not going to go into too much detail now, but it comes standard with Apple CarPlay. There's cup holders in the middle and a armrest that's at about the right height. As you can see, everything is easily reachable, and there's plenty of room too. For example, there's a big bin with a bottle holder and the obligatory power window and mirror buttons on the door. Some of the other things that come with this N-line update is red stitching around the steering wheel, a leather covered steering wheel, this cool gear knob which has leather on it as well, and this black headlining. We reviewed Hyundai's i30N some time ago and loved it. It's fast and it's very, very handsome. For those that don't need to go around corners like they're on a crazy mouse, what they want is a value for money car that they can do their weekly shop in safely. They want to carry their family and friends in comfort, so they look for practicality. Despite the infatuation buyers seem to have with SUVs, hatchbacks remain a popular choice. Why is that? There's the large rear door for getting your goodies in and out, everything from dogs to door handles, from paint to parcels, wetsuits, buckets and other bits and bobs. It shows you don't need an SUV. The manual N-line costs $26,490. Adding a 7-speed DCT dual clutch automatic costs a further $3,000. That $3,000 also includes safety features like blind spot monitoring, driver attention warning and lane keep assist. It's strange that manual versions can't get this option. Those features are available as a $1,750 option on lower models. They come standard in the upper models because the upper models all have the dual clutch transmission, so you can only get blind spot monitoring and active lane control if you've got the 7-speed automatic. For another $5,500 you get that top of the line N-line Premium. Inside there are N-exclusive leather accented front front seats, which gain heating and cooling in the premium model. The audio system, even in this base model, sounds good, but the top model gets an extra boost with an infinity stereo. Of course, there is a reversing camera. And for getting around in really tight streets like this, it's invaluable. Just because you haven't got the N-line Go Quick engine, it doesn't mean this engine is a slug. It's 150 kilowatts and 256 Newton meters. It feels nippy, and the manual transmission is just superb. It is brilliant. This car got 5 stars in 2017, and now to get 5 stars, you need more than what it did in 2017. For example, AEB, or autonomous emergency braking, has to be standard on all cars in the range. So all i30s would have to have AEB standard in order to get a 5-star rating. On the road, it's nice and quiet. As I pointed out outside, there are a few issues with such low profile tyres on some road surfaces, but generally it's actually pretty good. It's also got things like hill hold assist, and hill hold assist means that you can take your foot off the brake and put it onto the accelerator and the car won't roll back. One thing I wanted to point out was that one of the problems that people have when it comes to driving manual cars is they worry about using a clutch in city traffic. Well, this is city traffic, this is pedestrian crossings and all that sort of stuff, and this thing is just fine. I understand that some people, especially in heavy traffic, the constant on-off of clutches is a bit of a worry, but this clutch is an absolute peach. It is as sweet as a nut, it's so light. Also light is the steering, which if we ever get moving, I'll be able to demonstrate. Of course, the N-Line does come standard with things like automatic lights and automatic wipers, things that in the 21st century make your life just that little bit easier. One thing I want to stress though is the ride is absolutely brilliant. Now you can see then that the pickup is quite good, and handling, let's go around this tight corner, is great. It's excellent. The good thing is you get some of the good attributes of the N without having to have the hard as nails suspension. The manual is a 6-speed and gives you a lot of leeway. It's a very frisky engine. There's lots and lots of low down grunt. The turbo does take a little while to kick in, but turbo lag certainly isn't what it used to be. Because I'm so disappointed that a lot of the safety gear isn't available in the manual, for the first time ever I'm going to give a car a split rating. 9 out of 10 for the automatic versions, the ones that get all of that extra stuff, and 7.5 out of 10 for the manual. It isn't that this car isn't great to drive. It is beautiful, it's frugal, and it's handsome, but not having blind spot monitoring and active lane control, I think, is a real problem. I've given it that split rating because in this day and age, I think it's really important for cars to have all of that safety gear in all the models. Everything from blind spot monitoring, AEB, active lane guidance. If they're going to have it in one, they should have it in all, and that's a safety thing. The same goes for Apple CarPlay, but of course all Hyundais just about now have got it. I don't think I'm telling any lies out of school. As always, hit the little round button just there and subscribe.